The characters and events depicted in this podcast is for mere entertainment. Any similarity to actual persons, living or dead, or going through their third surgery is purely coincidental. Listen at your own risk.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Somos the Next Generation. So for this episode, it is just me for today. It's just me. I hope you guys like enjoyed the part one of our sex trilogy. What I was trying to impose in this new season. So I hope you guys enjoyed that first episode. Part two is coming soon, very much soon. I'm just trying to gather the people to be present, to be able to match our time schedules, and to be able to record that, because I want that episode to be as perfect as possible to get my point across. So for this episode, I gotta have my coffee. So, what is this? Nothing comes before coffee. So for this episode, I wanted to talk about representation. I'm going to dive into it real quick, pretty easy. So I want to talk about representation of gay and lesbian characters or gay people in general in TV and film. So throughout my 26 years of life, like I've seen so many shows on TV. I've seen films. I've seen so many films on TV and theaters. All they sometimes have a gay character in it, and I feel like sometimes the representation of the gay community is sometimes based on stereotypes, which I guess in a sense it's all right, but once you see it all the time and see this gay character being this certain way, you're like, okay, great, another gay character is present, or is revealed, or is introduced, or whatever. So I've seen shows like Friends, which is one of my favorite shows of all time. I love Friends. There's Will and Grace. There's Queer as Folk. There is movies such as Brokeback Mountain. There's that Call Me by Your Name. There's Cuatro Lunas. And I grew up watching Mexican telenovelas, so I've seen a lot of telenovelas. You can ask me anything about telenovelas, and I can answer it for you 99.9% of the time, of course. And lately, I've seen a few gay characters introduced as like main characters or some important characters in the show. But the way they introduce them, or the way people react, like, I guess you can say it's normal in a Mexican surrounding, in a Mexican area, which is something I will dive in. I will focus on things that I know and what I've seen for the most part. So forgive me if I give an opinion or a fact that's not completely true. So, all right. For the most part, what I've seen, gays or gay men are, they're peluqueros. They have a hair salon. They are super feminine. They're super extra, very extravagant. They like to wear like bright colors and like super pink bright colors and things like that. And of course, these are the men being represented in the shows. Women are usually more masculine and more like, I don't know. They always represent these characters with their stereotypes, and sometimes it's not cool. Let's see. I think it's harder to introduce gay characters without like making jokes. Like, I feel like sometimes when you talk about gay in general in these shows, like they like give a punchline with the joke, or they joke about it, or they play around with the theme or the topic about it. So I've seen this, and I'm talking about I guess Friends, because Friends is something I've watched so many times. I can have it in the background. I can have Friends in the background. I can, know exactly what's going on. I've seen it so many times. Um, I have. I mean, the show was made mid 90s. This was 30 years ago. Um, I feel like the idea of being gay or being a lesbian, in general, were more. It was more of a taboo, like they wanted to incorporate it, but they weren't so okay with the idea. So they had to like joke around with it. So I've seen Friends so many times, and although I love the show, sometimes some of the jokes are kind of like, because they can come off a bit, a bit homophobic, uh, like when Joey, had a female roommate for the first time, and then they ended up dating, and then she started to put her stuff around the rooms and the living room, the bathroom, their bedrooms. Like they started hanging up like cuadros and things like that, and then there was like flowery scenting things to make the room smell nice, and he was enjoying it. So Chandler reacted with like, "Whoa, dude, you're becoming a woman," and he was like, "Oh, no, 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 no," and then he said something about being offended, and then Chandler jokingly was like, "I'm sorry, have I offended you?" and and then Joey reacts quite, as Joey would react, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, yes, I am becoming a woman." And I think this was after Monica came in, and he asked him like if he wanted to like do or knit something together or create nests or something together, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm hella down." Um, and then Chandler did tell him like, "Oh, you're becoming a woman." So those little minor jokes, about having to, or wanting to have your living room smell nice is a woman thing. Men have to have a dirty living room smelling like socks and gym bags and things like that. And there was another one where there was Ross, Monica, and Chandler. They were talking about things secrets they've had, or things that they've gone through when they were younger, like when you know Chandler told Monica about Ross and the roller coaster and having tacos, and he got diarrhea. And so Ross told Monica, well, Chandler made up with the guy that looked like a woman. I mean, well, he met up with the woman, and then of course, he ended up being a guy. And so they were joking about this, and so Chandler was trying to like kind of get back at Ross. But they were all kind of like bouncing back, comebacks, and this and that. And the end of the jokes was like, dude, you met up with the guy. So that kind of like makes things make it seem like, oh, such a bad thing to have met up with the guy. That was like, woo, it was a bad thing. And there's like so many things. Obviously, back in the day, I guess it was harder to hire an actual gay person or a trans person or a lesbian character or a lesbian person, a lesbian actor to represent a character. Damn, I kind of stumbled there. Um, like for Chandler's dad, who ended up leaving with the butler on Thanksgiving, and this is why he hates Thanksgiving. He left, and now he's a woman. He has a nightclub in Las Vegas called Viva Las Vegas, and so of course the lady, well, it's a woman, represent an actual woman representing a trans woman. So those minor things, but then again, like these shows were made like before we can finally be a little more comfortable in regards, the gay community, because I mean, there's still some places where they're still not okay with it, and fuck them. But that's that. So this is based on shows that I've seen. I'm sure y'all seen Will and Grace and how like the gay men are represented there. I've seen you've seen that. We have Brokeback Mountain, which is your typical, I'm gay, but he's not. He's married with his wife, and we like each other, we love each other, but we can't be together because I'm straight. Blah 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 blah. Which, by the way, it's a great movie. It's a fantastic movie. A very sad ending though. But if you've never seen Brokeback Mountain, we do joke about it a lot. Not just here and not just us, like my friends and I, but in general. Anyway, Brokeback Mountain is a great movie. Go watch it. So I wanna kind of lean towards now the gay representation in Mexico. Mexico, that's very like super super Catholic and super religious and like being gay is super forbidden and blah 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 blah. It's crazy. Mm. Lately, these past few years, I've seen some telenovelas with some gay characters, which I'm gonna mention some. So there's this 2018 telenovela, 2018-2019 telenovela called Mi marido tiene más familia y El corazón nunca se equivoca. So in those two telenovelas, there was these kids, these teenagers who, they were discovering themselves, and they end up that one of the kids ends up being like gay, and then the other kid was like confused about the idea, and but then they get their spin off and they live happily ever after. Anyway, so there's that. There has been a telenovela called Papá Toda Madre where there is a gay couple with children, and I know that some of the neighbors are kind of like skeptical and very like, oh my gosh, there's two men with children, parenting children. It's like, how is that even possible? Representing lesbians. Oh, which is, I'll talk about the lesbians in Mexican telenovelas, and we'll also kind of like take me back or lean or connect with characters in Friends. So there has been telenovelas such as Amar a Muerte, Imperio de Mentiras, entre varias, donde like they do represent lesbian couples there, and I feel like it's for some reason it's just easier to throw in a lesbian character as opposed to throwing a gay man character in there. I guess it's easier for the eye to take. I don't know. I think I've always asked myself like, why is it that it's much easier to present lesbians in TV and film? And in my opinion, the reason why is like for some reason men have a fantasy with two women, having a threesome with two women, making it seem like two women making out is much like sexier and hot and like I don't know. For some reason that's a fantasy that's shown on TV and film about men, and I kind of agree. Like I don't know why they have that fantasy, and so I think maybe that's why, because men usually or had most of the power in film production and TV production. So if they want to see it and they were okay with it, they would get to go. Such as in Friends, Ross's ex-wife or Ross's first wife, turned out to be a lesbian, and they were okay with it, and it was much easier to represent a lesbian couple and a lesbian partner than than a gay man. And I think like some of the episodes, they do joke about lesbianism, or how when Rachel spoke with Carol, and she told her that Ross slept with another woman, and then Carol was like, "You slept with another woman," and then his comeback, which was I guess it was a pretty cool comeback at the time, and it was kind of funny. It was like it was a huge burn. The fact that he says, "Oh, or you're the one to talk," So there, like, it's much easier, I guess, to talk about lesbians there. Again, sometimes Monica and Rachel like would make out to kind of win a bet or win something back. Like when they lost the apartment to Chandler and Joey during that game, and the only way to keep it back was for them to make up for a minute, and they were okay with it. And I've seen I've seen a few times where they do somehow make it like a sexual innuendo. Is that a word, innuendo? Well, they make it very sexual when they accidentally fall on top of each other, and then Joey. But anyway, where was I? Okay, so I mean, in the telenovela Amar a Muerte, there was this girl. She had a boyfriend, and then there's this other girl, and then they become friends, and then they end up being a lot more than that. So they ended up realizing they do have feelings for each other, and so this lesbian couple became so huge, and like they wanted to do a spin-off about it. They wanted to they had like a like an online show, like a I don't know. So they try to share it and like show it off a lot more. And they I didn't hear anything about people being opposed to it. But if it were a gay couple, a gay main couple, then they shit would hit the fan. Um, so yeah, I mean that's my opinion. The representation, um, it's a lot easier, and it shouldn't be that way. To be honest, I think it should be easy to represent a man and show his sexuality without a problem, without being or represented as very extravagant or very super gay, as some people would call it, or that they want to dress you up, or they're gonna rearrange your bedroom and your living room, and or they're just gonna give you a new hairstyle. Like, I think we should modernize and like think about those things. For instance, this telenovela that I watched recently that ended a few months ago or a couple months ago. There was this guy who was closeted, and he was dating a girl to kind of like shut people up, and the friends or the people around him would make this super homophobic jokes about it, like, and he would get super upset about it, and then she got mad because she found out that he was actually gay. He was already dating somebody. He was seeing somebody, discreetly, and this macho guy, and blah blah blah. And she got super pissed, which is understandable, right? I think he should have just come clean and told her like, I'm sorry. But then again, that's I guess it's hard for some people to do so. I mean, being gay is not easy. Being gay is not easy, and it's a topic I will come back to a little bit in the next couple episodes. But anyways, I think I'm gonna wrap this up. I just wanted to touch up on that idea of the representation, because it's something that I've seen on TV, and I kind of wanted to talk about it and just share it and go from there. And I hope at some point we do get a much better representation of the gay community on TV without them having to be super, super extravagant. But anyways, that's it for today, guys. We'll be back again. Like I said, we will be back with part 2 of the sex trilogy. It should be a very, very interesting topic, so don't miss out. Stay on the lookout for that episode. And I hope you guys did enjoy this episode too. I know it's not drama, it's not gossip, but it's something I kind of wanted to throw out there for you and for myself or whatever. But yeah, thank you so much, guys, for listening to me today, and I will be back. We will be back. See ya.